Welcome to this week's episode of the Soda Mojo Podcast. My name is Trevor.
And my name is Ethan.
And we're just a couple of high school baseball coaches from Tacoma who love talking Mariners baseball. Dude, so we're
so back.
Dude, we're so back. We're coming off the high. We actually just watched the first game together that we've watched this season.
Yep.
We're a fourth of the way through, and
This is the first time we watched a game not at the game.
True.
Ever. That's the first game we watched on TV.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. So Ethan and I caught the end of the day game for the Royals. This is the first time that we're recording on a day where the game has already been played, which is nice. And then off day tomorrow. So our podcast should be up tomorrow, which is Thursday. So when you're listening to this, it should be Thursday. And getting prepped for the big road trip we have ahead to Baltimore, New York, and the Nationals.
Oh, boy.
So
we're all playing well, by the way.
Yeah, they're all playing really good. It's going to be a gauntlet on the road. But our guys get a well-deserved day off, which is huge. We will get to all of it. So buckle up. Let's get into Around the League. Okay, man. So where do you want to start? I mean, I have a lot of news regarding trades this week, which is weird at this time of year.
Yeah. But I wanted to put down first, Baseball Savant, for people who are stat nerds, came out with a new statistic, and it's bat speed, which I thought this was already being tracked. But now they've been tracking bat speed. Highest bat speed is Giancarlo Stanton, to no one's surprise, and the lowest is Luis Arias. So for the Mariners, the highest is Julio, which that's not surprising to you, especially with 2 strikes. And a little shot right there. And Josh Rojas has the slowest bat speed, which, okay, man, means your barrel stays in the zone longer.
Right. I mean, it has its advantages. I mean, he's not swinging for massive power. He does get into a home run or two from time to time, but as a leadoff guy, that's not primarily what you're looking for.
No, and that's not what he tries to do. He doesn't try to hit the ball out of the air. I mean, if it happens, it happens. That's not his goal every time up, though.
Unless it's the first pitch right down the middle of the game.
Yeah.
And then he's trying to take you yah-yah. So anyways, let's get into the trades. There's quite a few. So the Giants traded Dalton Jeffries to the Pirates in exchange for minor league outfielder Rodolfo Nolasco. The Braves acquired Zach Short from the Red Sox for cash considerations. It's kind of like I'm looking at this whole picture of what's happening right now. I mean, the Mariners just traded
Tyson
Miller for a guy that has an awesome last name in Slaughter. And he'll be joining our AAA team. So I just wanted to ask you, like, maybe I just haven't paid attention as much, but I feel like this is a lot of trades for May.
Yeah, I mean, these aren't household names and everything, but obviously the Rise trade happened right away.
Right.
I feel like we know this year is a lot different from other years because we know who's bad. There's a huge gap. There's really good, mid, and horrible. The horrible teams, they've been horrible from day one.
Which, speaking of, the White Sox have already come out with a list of the guys that they're more likely to trade during the trade deadline season. So
I mean, the Angels would do the same, but they have nobody to trade.
Right. So the White Sox have already made known that they're expected to trade Eric Fed, Chris Flexen, Mike Clevenger, Michael Kopech, Eloy Jimenez, and Tommy Pham. Like, that's a.
I would get Tommy Pham.
I would trade for Tommy Pham right now.
Right now.
And I know that we've talked, like, this is the third show in a row we've talked about Tommy Pham, so maybe we're just really clamoring for it and we didn't realize. But I think Tommy Pham would be a huge addition. Now, granted, I've heard he's a weird clubhouse guy, so maybe not, but I'm just saying the dude is producing like crazy. And it's just, Baltimore just came out and said that they're already looking at a high leverage reliever ahead of the deadline. Like, maybe they use the huge prospect farm system that they have to go get a Mason Miller. I mean, Mason Miller right now, dude, is absolutely insane.
Yeah. He's a negative FIP.
Like, he has a negative FIP, which is not a thing. He made Altuve look like a little leaguer yesterday. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that. Slider, fastball.
3 pitches that, like, he wasn't even close. Like, Altuve wasn't even competitive.
Yeah. Mason Miller is going to get a haul for the A's, by the way.
Yeah.
Haul.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be one of the biggest reliever trades that we've ever seen.
Yeah. He's probably the biggest trade piece right now as the season sits.
He's the biggest like known trade piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, I
So
mean, if the White Sox were going to trade Luis Robert, it would obviously be him. And if the Marlins are open to trading Jazz, it would probably be him.
right. But as of right now, we know Mason Miller is going to get dealt before the deadline at some point. Oakland's little heater where they won a bunch of games came to a screeching halt. They've been losing a lot again.
They'll
So
be giving up a lot of runs.
giving up a lot of runs. So it's not like Mason Miller didn't even see an inning against the Mariners when we just played them.
Nope.
So praise God for that, by the way.
Yeah.
Although I kind of wanted to see him. Like there was like a weird, gross part of me that
Honestly.
like wanted to see him actually like
Carve us up.
Yeah. Not carve us up. I just wanted to see if we could hit him. But our offense.
We know
probably
Jerry
not.
always likes the trade for guys while they're still here.
Yeah.
Or trade some guy to wherever they're at right now. Like, oh, Paul Sewald, you're not leaving Arizona.
Dude,
Here's Kendall Graveman, you're playing the team we're playing against.
So I didn't put this in the notes. I'm terrified. So there's a lot of people that are like, dude, the Mariners should do whatever it takes to trade for Kyle Tucker because the Astros have been down and they're talking about like selling already, but then like they've been winning a couple games now. So now all of a sudden their fans are hilarious, just whatever. So anyways, Mariners fans were like, hey, we should trade for Kyle Tucker. And I'm like, okay, I hear
That's
you.
a package.
Kyle Tucker would take a lot, like probably at least 4 of our top 10 prospects to get.
Yeah.
And
a major league player.
And I'm looking at it going like this. Would he be worth it for this run? Maybe. But you know what would really suck? If we restocked Houston with dudes and then those dudes haunt us for the next
because they have
right. Like imagine, I mean, like you're gonna have to trade like Lazaro Montes, you're gonna have to trade Ty Pete, you're gonna have to trade Cole Young, Harry Ford, maybe Lockley. Like you're probably trading 5 of our dudes for Kyle Tucker, who Kyle Tucker, no doubt, is a really, really solid player. But
he's a great player. He's a top 15 player.
And like, here's the deal. Could you imagine Houston reloading on the back of our farm system and then getting back into contention and being who they are with our dudes that we sent them? That would be like absolute nightmare status.
We'd want to send them back to the National League.
I have no desire to make a big trade like that with the Astros. I don't care. Even the trade for like the Abraham Toro and like sending, like I hated that trade right there too. Because I'm like, bro, what if Kendall Graveman goes and just becomes like reliever of the year? And he actually did well for them, right? So I'm like, man, anyways. I did want to talk about Chris Sale really quickly. Dude, the poor Red Sox, man. Like Chris Sale,
their pitching's been fine without him.
Yeah, it's true, but Chris Sale like did nothing when he was in Boston. Just was not, just a shadow of himself. Then Chris Sale gets traded to a competitive team, and shockingly, 8 games started, 6-1, 2.54 ERA, 61 strikeouts, and a .89 WHIP. Dude is shredding right now.
This is what the Braves do. It's just what the Braves do.
It's crazy to me. It's crazy.
Carved us up too a few weeks ago.
Well, I'm just saying, when you have an offense that is going to like stack up runs behind you, like think about how much more confident of a pitcher that makes you. And that's what I think about with our team. It's like our starters feel the pressure. Like Logan Gilbert gives up a 3-run home run yesterday, which we're going to talk about, and we're like, dude, game over. And he knew it too. And he said it after the game. He goes, dude, I was cruising. Everyone's like, dude, you should be happy about your start. And he's like, why?
We're only up 1.
I gave up. No, we were down.
Oh, we were down.
We were down 3-1. He gave up a 3-run bomb when we were up 1-0. And then that felt like the game was over.
Yep.
And you're just like, man. And then it was over. So anyways, man, it is one of those things where you're like, okay. We do have some injury news. Dude, Justin Topa just got shut down.
I did see that.
So the guys that wore the most innings for the Mariners last year in Topa and Brash, they're both down. And so we were just talking about this today because Munoz just had to go in and do a 5-out save. Urias' error made it a 6-out save. And just through 30 some odd pitches.
Yeah.
And
look that up real quick.
And I'm like, bro, we have to be concerned. Yep. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Well, it'll be a later time.
I'm getting ahead of us because we're still in around the league. But anyways, Justin Topa, who's with the Twins now, got shut down for 6 weeks with a patellar tendon tear. And you're just looking at it going, dude, the 2 guys that pitched the most innings for the Mariners last year, both of them are down.
Yep. And the third is being used a lot this year.
Right.
Yikes. Other news, Jung-Hoo Lee dislocated his left shoulder on Sunday. Not good, considering I had him for Rookie of the Year. So far, by the way, Imanaga, have you seen his stats?
Yeah.
He's like 40 innings, 50 innings,
Ironically,
0.9
you know what
ERA.
team has done the best against him so far?
Us?
The Mariners. Mariners had the best game against him that he's had.
I don't think he had an unearned. I think he had an unearned run though that game. I'm pretty sure he did, but still, it was his best.
Yeah.
His worst start.
But finally, some good news. Actually, you know what? This might be controversial. I don't know if all of our fans would agree with this, but I think it's good news that the automated strike zone is definitely coming, according to Nightingale and USA Today, in the next 2 years.
I don't trust Nightingale.
I don't either. But what I'll say is this, dude, is it's working in AAA. I'll tell you this. It makes AAA games more entertaining to me when I know that they're going to get the calls right, that they can challenge a call really quickly.
I feel like they took that away.
No, they didn't.
They didn't? Why? No one did it yesterday, and there was a lot of arguments yesterday at the Rainiers game.
Well, what I'm saying is they've tried it out, and to me, when I've been at Rainiers games and they've done that, I've been happy with it because it goes quickly. The umpires take it less personal. It just is what it is. Like, hey, just going to challenge it. No worries. We want to get it right. Perfect. And I'm like, with balls and strikes and the technology we have, and I'm going to scream this from the rooftops, when you can get it 100% right, why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
I
mind
want to get it right.
I don't mind keeping judgment calls in the game, but we've already taken those out, right? Like, we can challenge plays at second base, like Julio popping off a second today, and he gets called safe initially, but because
getting
he's
picked off.
off the base by like a little bit, then they get him. It's like, hey, we're already challenging and we're already getting calls right in the field, which I'm fine with.
Yep.
Why wouldn't we want to do that with the balls and strikes? And honestly, I'd rather them get it 100% right. It's unfair to pitchers who make pitches and then they get called by Angel Hernandez and just freaking terrible.
That guy's horrible.
He's terrible.
So,
all right, man. Is there anything else you want to talk about around the league? I mean,
not really.
Yeah, not a ton around that. No big teams. I mean, what's funny is we're starting to see teams return back to their averages, right? So now we're a fourth of the way through the season, and
crazy to think about.
Isn't that crazy already?
Yeah.
It's just, dude, it's because our baseball season. Like when we're in the thick of everything, like my life is like a vortex. All of a sudden I wake up and it's May. I'm like, what on God's green earth just happened? So anyways, man, let's
the bad teams are playing well though.
What's that?
Shout out Rockies. 7 straight wins.
The Rockies had a 7-game win streak, and that was against Texas.
Pretty sure the White Sox have a winning record with Tommy Pham. The Marlins continue to Marlin. They have the worst record at 13-32. The Phillies have the best record at 30-13. I've heard they've had a pretty light schedule though, like really light. And is going to be tough coming up. Yeah, they've only played 3 teams that are over 500. There are 3 games that are over 500. So one team that's over 500 that the Phillies have played. We've played,
dude. So we
played 26 games against teams that are over 500 right now.
So I'm going to talk about this in the Mariners updates. So whatever, but Mariners had faced one of the hardest strength of schedules to this point since the beginning of the season. But we are the third from the bottoms. So we have the third easiest remaining schedule from here. So the fact that we've gotten through a fourth of the season and we are above 500 and in first place, it doesn't feel like there's any better scenario than that, to be honest.
Yeah.
So anyways, speaking of, let's get into the Mariners updates. All right, so let's hop into our Mariners updates here. You want to start off with your update you went to your first Rainiers game yesterday.
Well, of the year.
Probably the
last 3 years, I think.
Okay. Well, perfect day to go when JP's playing, Canzone's playing, and Hancock started. Like that's
why I went.
Yeah.
That was my first Rainiers. I think the last time I went to a Rainiers game before that, Kyle Lewis was here, and he was in the dugout. He didn't even play. He was there, but he didn't
actually
play.
Low key. I'm like bummed that guy never panned out.
Yeah. Anyways, it was a pretty fun game. I forget the beauties of minor league baseball games. Like we sat in the back, somewhat in like the back sections, in the middle of like row 7, and then people aren't there, and then you move down like right behind the dugout. So then we sat behind the Rainiers dugout for like an inning until one of the ushers started checking tickets, and we dipped, and then we went all the way back in the back corner in like a completely like empty area of seating, and me and my buddies just sat there for like 4 innings and just talked it up, and it was fun. Some highlights, dude. The bottom of the Rainiers lineup was insane. This is something I questioned. So there are 3 Rainiers players hitting over 300 right now that are like full-time players. You want to guess where they bat in the lineup?
Probably towards the bottom with
7, 8, 9.
Yeah, with JP and it's because JP and Kenzone were up, right?
Well, they're pretty regulars at the bottom. Jason Vossler is hitting 301, Michael Chavis who's hitting 310, and Blake Hunt who's hitting 319.
Yeah, we don't have this in the notes, dude, but we got to talk about Blake Hunt because
He's
Zavala is in he's fine.
Yeah.
He's in fine territory. He got his first home run. We'll talk about in the game earlier this week, and I go Zavala's fine, but Blake Hunt could be a big offensive piece for us that would spell Cal because Cal's been
probably the next Tom Murphy.
Honestly, Cal's getting dinged up already. Like he got hit in the face. He had a glove interference yesterday where he got hit pretty hard, which freaked me out after seeing the Contreras stuff happen. And so I'm like, man, Cal has already gotten dinged up quite a bit. I would love to see him
Blake
take
Hunt's
more
on his way
games
up,
off.
dude. He had an Oppo home run at Cheney. Dude, that was a shot. He also flew out to the track a few times, had a sac fly. He just got stuff done, went 2 for 4 with 2 ribbies. Chavis hit the ball hard. Chavis hit the wall in center field in his first at-bats. Clase hit the ball hard. Mostly everybody hit the ball hard. JP wasn't really that great. In the field, he was amazing. He was a little bit late at the plate. Kenzone was just swinging at curveballs and changeups in the dirt, I was kind of shocked that he got called up for today. They got pulled in like the 7th inning because they were on their way up to Seattle anyway. Chavis was honestly like the biggest surprise. Hancock pitched. He ended up walking the bases loaded in the first inning, like 3 straight walks to start the game, and then got out of it with no runs. The bullpen got shelled a little bit. They gave up 5, but I mean the Rainers scored 8 on 13 hits, and they ended up winning the game. But it was fun because I mean I was right next to JP and Kenzone. Kenzone, by the way, huge guy. Like I know during the offseason, they're like, oh, he gained 20, 30 pounds of muscle and blah, blah, blah. Dude, he looks like a freaking unit out there. Like, he's a stud.
Yep. And we're going on Sunday.
Yep.
Our high school team, part of the deal for them hitting or playing at Cheney is that they are selling tickets to the game. So that's on Sunday afternoon. So that'll be my first Rainiers game this year. So I'm looking forward to that.
The lineup yesterday was stacked. So it was JP, Clase, Kenzone, Bliss, Marlowe, Brian Anderson, Vossler, Chavis, and Hunt.
Yeah, that's
everybody had a hit, by the way.
Yeah, that's stacked up.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Speaking of of AAA depth. So that was the Tyson Miller trade we were talking about with Jake Slaughter. He will go to AAA. He's actually not bad. Like you actually look at the stats and you're like, man, the Cubs traded Jake Slaughter because they didn't want Tyson Miller to go to waivers and then them not possibly get him. So they apparently really liked Tyson Miller, which honestly, I don't really understand. Like I would
have kept him.
I would have kept him too. Like we have other guys that you could have optioned. I don't understand. I don't understand DFAing Tyson Miller, especially a guy that you were excited out of camp. And yeah, like he struggled a little bit here and there, but he also had some outings that he was really solid. But right now, a big weakness that we're watching as Munoz is having to do 5-out saves and 4-out saves is we don't have high leverage arms. Like Stanek has struggled, so he's out of high leverage. They put him in what, the 6th inning today? Like
I don't understand why they didn't either DFA like Snead or Cody Bolton has 2 options left.
And Cody Bolton sucks. Dude, I'm just saying, like every time he goes out, he's giving up runs.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's happened a bunch just in the last week. So I'm like, I don't understand. Yeah, if Bolton has options, option him down back to AAA.
Keep Miller. Miller was fine. He was better than Bolton.
He was better than Bolton. Bolton is probably the worst arm in there. And unfortunately, I just gave a shout out. He's my player of the week a couple weeks ago. Trent Thornton's been struggling too, dude.
Yeah.
Like if either of those guys, if Bolton or Thornton goes into the game, I'm like, he's giving up a run.
I mean, Tyson Miller had a 2.63 ERA with a 0.7 WHIP.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Why did we get rid of that guy? Especially considering Cody Bolton has 2 options. 2 options. Not even just 1, 2. Bizzardo had an option. Like, what are we doing?
Bizzardo, they're only putting him in games that we're like losing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's just really strange for them to get rid of Tyson Miller.
Bolton has a negative 0.1 WAR.
But speaking of, so Bizzardo, we got a little ahead of ourselves. So Bizzardo did get activated off the 15-day IL. Yeah. Snead also got called up from Tacoma.
1000th player in team history, by the way.
Yep. And Saucedo got put down to the 15-day DL. We're going to talk about him in a second when we get to the injury updates. And then Hancock got optioned back to Tacoma, obviously. So for Woo. So it is one of those things that you're like, man, I don't get it. Like maybe we'll figure something out later where it makes more sense. As of right now, obviously with the information that we have, it doesn't make sense to me.
I don't understand.
We continue to struggle with strikeouts. So I saw a stat late last week that the Mariners have struck out 10 plus times in 24 games, dude. 24 games.
With a team that's not built off power, by the way.
But we are ranked like 5th, I think, in home runs total. So that's, whatever. So
that's pretty loaded by like 2 people.
We're not right. We're not right by Cal, basically.
Yeah, pretty much Cal.
And you're going, man, like for a team that's supposed to be built on contact and less home runs, we are built around strikeouts and home runs, which is what we were trying to get away from. So who knows? But speaking of, same kind of story where the majority of our runs have come from as of Thursday last week. So I didn't check the stat as of today, but as of Thursday last week, the Mariners led in baseball with 294 plate appearances with runners in scoring position, which is the last place. Like they led with the least.
Yeah, the least amount of plate appearances.
They had the least amount of plate appearances with runners in scoring position.
Oh, by the way, Tyson Miller pitched 2 innings yesterday against the Braves. Didn't give up a run. Gave up 1 hit. What are we doing?
And our bullpen's in rough shape. Very quickly. We need Santos like ASAP.
Yeah, which is not going to happen.
Well, yeah. But What do we find out last week? I think he's.
They said it's more towards July.
Yeah. So we'll see. But like we talked about, the Mariners have the 3rd easiest remaining schedule in all baseball, only behind Milwaukee and the Dodgers. Of course, the Dodgers. How did the Dodgers get away with that? Dodgers have the easiest schedule
and the best team,
and
second best.
Arguably.
Second, I think the Braves are better.
But we beat him. So cool little stat here from our from our Mariners PR team that Cal Raleigh is the first American League catcher to hit 10 plus home runs in his team's first 40 games of the season since Jorge Posada in 2003.
That's pretty shocking. I'm surprised Napoli didn't do that. I'm surprised Victor Martinez didn't do that. Other than that, there's not a lot of slugging catchers.
I mean, Zunino was so hot.
Sean Murphy.
Cold. Sean Murphy is National League.
But he was with the A's.
Oh, right. Yeah, but the Braves.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of slugging catchers. I don't know. Gary Sanchez didn't do that.
Right.
He was hot for a few years.
He got hurt, though.
He did get hurt a little bit.
So
now he's.
But speaking of home runs, Mitch Haniger has 55 home runs now. So he got a home run yesterday. And he has 55 total, which surpasses Edgar and Ichiro. At T-Mobile. So I did make that caveat on our X page. Like, yes, it surpasses Edgar, but Edgar did a lot of damage in the Kingdom before he went to the T-Mobile. So
yeah, fair.
Yeah. Okay, so I have an interesting idea. So there were guys that were kind of arguing about what does it look like when Canzone comes back. Honestly, I think the best course of action is we got to give Haniger more days off.
Easily. That's the easiest decision you can make.
But you have to keep Demo in the lineup too. And so we're going to get JP back, which we're going to talk about here in a second when we get to injury updates. We're getting JP back in a hot second. We had Canzone back in the lineup today. So what do you do with all these guys now? Because JP is going to be playing every day moving forward. So my thought process is let's platoon Rayleigh and Demo. If you're going to platoon Rayleigh,
yeah. if you platoon Rayleigh,
if you're going to platoon Rayleigh, you platoon
which you shouldn't right now.
Right now, you should not be.
Not this second.
Playing the hot hand. But if you're going to platoon, you platoon Rayleigh and Demo in left field, and then Canzone and Haniger in right. Although Rayleigh played in right today and was solid.
Yeah, he was really good.
So it was really good on defense.
You can also play center field.
And then you want to get on your rant about our center fielder as we're going through outfielders here?
How are you getting picked off? Like how?
He had 2 base running blunders today.
He overslid second, which that happens. It happens sometimes. Like when you slide feet first.
Which he stopped doing head first because he kept banging up his hands. So
yeah. I mean, because he's such a big dude and he goes so fast that when you slide feet first like that your foot is eventually going to come off the base. It just happens. It just happens at way too high of a rate.
Yeah. And then he got picked off.
Then he got picked off like 2 innings later. Like, what are we doing? So I mean,
Just
both times
taking away
both times he got on base were negated right away on the bases.
Yeah, so his average is climbing. He still got 2 hits today,
Yeah.
but then he gets thrown out doing dumb stuff, and you're just like, oh, man,
Jeez, man.
like, come on, man, help us out. Help us out. Like Julio, he did this last year too, man, where he just was like not. I mean, I think he's doing better in a
He
lot
just
of.
has like funks of stuff periodically.
He just does weird.
It's always
stuff.
a different thing.
Right. So hopefully he gets it going again, and we get an August run where he's just hotter than the sun.
Yeah.
And we see him.
Just can't count on it every year, man.
You just can't.
Like last year, we were like, oh, there's no way they're going to win 13 straight games in a row. And then they go on like a
14, right?
Yeah, 14. Yeah, you're right. And then they go on like a 30-11 run. And you're like, oh, my God, of course. How'd they do it?
Wait, let's do that again starting right now.
Yeah,
I'm just
that
saying,
schedule, that'd be crazy.
When we're in first place, like, let's roll.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into our injury updates. There's quite a few, unfortunately, but we're a fourth of the way through the season. Guys are going to get dinged up. This kind of happens. So on the good news of things, Brian Wu back with the big league club. He has now started 2 games and was outstanding in both of them. So he had some forearm tightness after his first start that people were a little concerned about, but he just came out and said, hey, it was because we had a long inning of offense. Sometimes that happens to me when I'm, rehabbing from this. Used to it. It's not a big deal, but his velo, like Cal went out immediately.
It was like 88-mile-an-hour fastball.
Because all of a sudden his fastball was 88 miles an hour on back-to-back pitches, and Cal like came running to the mound. It was like, dude, we got to get him out of here.
The fact that he noticed that is something too.
Dude, Cal was honestly the best. I don't even care. I'll say it. Like, he is the best catcher in the AL. I don't care. Adley Rutschman is a beast, but I would take Cal.
1A, 1B in my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, because they're both switch hitting power catchers that are good defensively. I mean, they're pretty much the same player. Adley just hits for a little bit more contact.
Yeah, his average is a little higher.
But Cal has more power.
But I'm just saying, like, how Cal controls our pitching core, how he handles our bullpen, what he does at the plate. I mean, dude, just top to bottom, like, we need to extend that fool immediately.
I will be pissed if we don't. Like,
it'd be so dumb. I mean, bro, they literally were calling him this offseason to ask him his opinion before they were acquiring free agents. Like, is that really a guy you're not going to bring back and extend? You know what I mean? Like, that's a franchise guy. Cal's a franchise guy, as he should be. So cool little stat from Mariners PR again, dude. They always have these little nuggets.
Are you saying Cal's the best hitting catcher in the league, or like overall?
I just think he's the best catcher in the AL. And I know that's me being a homer because Adley Rutschman.
Overall, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you just
hitting catcher, probably not.
No, I'm saying overall, top to bottom. How he controls the lineup, throwing guys out. I mean, he led the league in caught stolen last year, right?
And home runs.
And home runs. So I'm like, I mean, here's the deal. Like you said, 1A and 1B. Adley Rutschman, I'm not taking anything away from him. And I got to be careful how I talk about him because we're about to go play in a series against him.
Oh, no, we're going to eat our words.
So, right, I don't want to do that. But Adley Rutschman's a solid player, no doubt. But I love Cal. Like, I don't have any hesitation.
Not the best catcher in the MLB, though. I will say that. Because I think William Contreras is the best catcher.
I think William Contreras is probably number 1.
Yeah.
And then Rutschman and Cal are probably 2A and 2B. So
Will Smith. Yeah.
Anyways, Mariners PR came out with some data right after Wu got done with his start today. He's at 101 total career strikeouts, and he's the 8th player in Mariners history with 100 plus strikeouts through his first 20 career starts. Pretty cool.
Yeah. I wonder the others.
Dude, getting Wu back, listen, Hancock did his job. But
for the most part, yes.
But having Wu back in that 5 spot where you're getting ace caliber stuff. I mean, bro, like he's just out there looking like making guys look dumb. Dude, he struck out Bobby Witt Jr. today. He struck out Salvi Perez today. Like, he looked nasty. And I'm like, bro, if we get that consistent, we get these 5 starters to continue on the run, there's no break. Like, what break are you looking at if you're a hitter and you look at our rotation, like, where's your break? There is none. There is none. So you want to break the bad news about Brash? I'll take the good news. I'll let you update everyone about the.
Yeah, he had Tommy John surgery. It's not really anything else to say about that. He had it on the 8th of May, which they said it on the 10th. Like, why would you just at least tell us earlier? Like,
yeah.
Matt Brash had Tommy John surgery 2 days ago. Next question.
And they're expecting
Okay.
him back in June of 2025 is like the timeline that they're looking at. So he is officially out for the rest of the year. We're not going to give any more injury
Why
updates
did
on
they
him.
take so long? Like, if we knew something was up, why didn't?
Well, they tried to ramp him back up. They did. They thought he was going to be able to get through it, and he was not.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of bullpen arms, like we need badly. Santos was at T-Mobile on Monday, still throwing, but we did find out that he got not shut down, but like he had a setback, and now we're not expecting him until July. Yeah. So it's going to be a piece it together and pray Munoz's arm doesn't fall off in the meantime. I think we need to figure it out. I think we might make
we need
a trade.
bullpen arms so bad.
We honestly might see a trade sooner than later because the way that our leverage arms are looking right now, other than Munoz, it's terrifying.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at F4 right now for relievers. Surprisingly, we have one in the top 30 for F4 for relievers, and you will not believe who it is. It's Trent Thornton. That is insane.
That's shocking.
Why is Munoz not on there?
Yeah, you're tripping. Something's wrong.
Something's
because he's been lights out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe closers are different. No.
But position players wise, Canzone back in the Mariners starting lineup was in the 7-hole, got a knock today, big double that ended up being an insurance run, which was huge. Yeah. We'll talk about that when we get to the game logs. JP started his rehab start yesterday when Ethan was there. It sounds like it's going to be really quick. It sounds like he's going to play tonight with the Rainiers, and then he's going to go to Baltimore.
I imagine he's going to struggle out the gate. He didn't look the best, JP? In my opinion. Yeah. He didn't look the greatest. Like he had a roll over to second. He had
line drive to left field. I saw
it was a ground ball.
Oh,
it was like 94 off the bat. He was late on it, but I mean, punched it through the 6-hole. I think he struck out once, and he had like one of those classic JP weak pop-ups to left field. But his defense was amazing. It was spot on. I mean, he made a few barehanded plays, catching pop-ups like this, like literally basket catching pop-ups. His defense looked fine, but
which
I wonder what he's going to be in the lineup.
I hope
that is the biggest question.
I hope it's not leadoff.
I hope it's not either. I hope 2.
Honestly, I'd be fine with him at 8.
I'd be fine.
I think it makes sense. 8 or 9.
Huh. I think 6 is perfect.
6 would be fine. Honestly, I'm going to be irritated if it's anything in the top 5.
I agree.
Because it should not be. Salcedo hurt his knee in the second game in Minnesota. It was him trying to cover on a PFP, and he slipped, and his knee hyperextended. Was kind of weird. They did say that it was best case scenario.
Yeah.
He's on the 15-day IL, and they said there's a chance he's actually going to come back at the end of that. So that's good news on that end. Polanco does have a tight hamstring. It's the opposite leg than it was last year, so that's good news. And they came out and said, hey, he could play in a pinch, but we're just being really cautious, especially with the hamstring issues he's had before, which makes sense. And then Garver got scratched from Tuesday's game really late, right before the game started with back spasms. Different back spasms. It's in the upper back, whereas the ones earlier in the season were lower back. So dude is obviously struggling with the back stuff. And did not play today.
I was nervous that someone was going to get pulled out of the Rainiers lineup when I saw that notification because I was at the stadium.
Right.
When I got that Garver notification, I was worried.
Yeah.
Don't take Blake Hunt away.
We'll roll us through the Miners highlights real fast.
Yeah. So Rainiers, they're 22-18. Like I said, I just went to their game yesterday. They looked really good all around. The bullpen is a little bit scary though.
They've kind of fallen off a bit.
Yeah,
they've lost quite a few games.
Yeah, they lost a little bit of games. It's basically been the Rainiers that we all know and love. They score a lot of runs, and then they also give up a lot of runs.
Makes for exciting baseball. Lots of balls in play.
Yeah, true. It's a good pay for your seat. Arkansas is 19-14. Ben Williamson just got called up. That lineup will now be a lot better than it is. Harry Ford has a 400 on base percentage. You guys are just doing well. Cole Young has been struggling a little bit. I did peep that the other day.
He had a walk-off, I think, yesterday, though.
Yeah. But regardless, he's still struggling.
Yep.
Everett is Everetting. Caleb Cali just got promoted to Everett, though.
That should help.
Yeah, he'll be hit third in their order. So Everett's 14-19 right now.
And then probably to make room for
Felon Celestine in Modesto. And Modesto is currently 24-8.
Dude, when this wave of hitters crashes into the MLB, it's going to be so dumb.
I mean, we have once Felnin gets called up to Modesto, I think 7 of our 9 or 7 of our 10 top 10 prospects are going to be in that lineup alone.
And they're
And they're
all
24-8.
and they're shredding. I mean, they're putting up double-digit runs. I saw the other day their run differential, 32 games into the season is 111.
Oh my god.
I saw that yesterday. 111.
That's got to be the most of any
in
minor league team.
32 games. Their run differential is 111. That is absurd. That is offense to the max.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. But the reason why I wanted to bring up Felnin,
their expected win-loss is 25-7, so it's actually better than their actual record.
Wow. The reason why I brought up Felnin is because in the Arizona Complex League, aka the ACL, he's unreal, dude. So he's slashing a 423, 516, 846 slash line with 2 home runs. He has more walks than strikeouts in 31 plate appearances. Like he had 2 home runs the other day that were just like
Modesto's playing right now.
So anyways, man, it's exciting to see that we have a lot of bats in the system, considering our arms. We very specifically, when they went and got Logan, when they went and got Bryce, when they went and got Woo, and they all these guys, when they went and got Kirby, they went really young and they went for big arms to start with, and then brought in a wave of hitters behind, which honestly is the way to do it, right? And then when we have the perfect combination of those young pitchers that are studs overlapping with these young hitters that are studs, that team could make a run for a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
By the way, I didn't mention this. If we want a high leverage bullpen arm, don't put out of the question Logan Evans. Just saying. That's a desperate move, but it could happen if stuff keeps going the way it does. Because Munoz getting 4 and 5 out saves is not sustainable, and it's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, Austin Voth pitched the 8th inning today. And what happened?
And it looked bad.
And
I'm like,
Stanek pitched the 7th and he looked bad, but he got a little lucky on some outs. Marine layer happened in the wind. The wind was bad.
Yeah. The wind also kept a few of ours out.
Well, it helped us. Yeah. So did the umpires, by the way.
Yep. So anyways, let's hop into these game logs. The end of the Minnesota series was atrocious. I don't want to spend a ton of time into it. Game number 3, Kirby started. He got absolutely shelled. Yeah. He gave up back-to-back home runs to Correa. Hate that guy. And Trevor Larnach, who's really good. Castro also had his way with us this whole series.
Why do you hate Correa?
He's an Astro. What are you talking about? I hate Carlos Correa. I don't care.
I don't think he's that bad. But
he was on a cheating team. He was on that team.
So then you hate everybody associated with that team?
Absolutely.
Brantley?
Yep.
Wow.
Dude, I have no respect for any of those guys. I don't care.
None of them?
They all knew that they all knew what was happening. You think they're dumb? Like, bro, you've been in dugouts. You think that these players that didn't know that cheating was happening? Come on, man. And then they get dinged for it again, which we're going to talk about when we get there.
Oh, we missed that. Yeah.
No, we didn't miss it. That's a division update. So my point is this, dude. I don't like Carlos Correa, and I never will. And I'll never like Jose Altuve. Like, listen, I know Altuve is going to go into the Hall, and it's going to drive me insane because I don't like him.
I did gain, not respect, but I did like when he bailed on the Astros. I did like that.
When Carlos did?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Okay.
And then he had the chance to do it again, to go back to the Astros. He said, no, I'm not going back ever.
Yeah. Well, there's that.
Because he said he wanted to replenish his legacy.
Oh.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, that's the way to do it, is get as far away from that organization as possible.
That's what he said himself.
Garbage. So anyways, Kirby, went 5 innings, got knocked around a bunch. The offense couldn't get it going. Garver did have a home run. Cal had an RBI double, but, Bolton, that was where he gave up a big 8th inning.
Garver had a good series.
Yeah, man. Garver has gotten the bat going. He's been barreling up balls. And, dude, honestly, his BBAP luck has just sucked. Yeah. He's hitting a couple line drives that have been snagged by third baseman like a couple of times in the last week. So it seems like he's on a good trajectory. Hopefully the back spasms.
Yeah, you just can't count on him every night.
Yeah.
Just unfortunate.
So that game we lost 3-6. So, and then we get into game 4. We're hoping that Logan will get us the series push, because it was a 4-game series. We won the first one, lost the middle 2. We're hoping Logan's going to come in, shut him down, and we get a series split. and he got absolutely shelled right away as well. So he gave up 5 runs in the first inning. He ended up giving 8 total earned runs. He only lasted 4 innings, 9 hits, 4 strikes. It was just brutal. So Logan had a huge clunker. The offense couldn't get it going. Rayleigh was the only one with an RBI single scoring Haniger. This was one of those games you just turn it off in the first inning and go find something else to do.
Yep. I got ready in the morning, and then, I was chilling at the house a little bit. Then I was like, oh, we're playing. And I checked MLB.com, 5-0 in the first inning. Didn't even bother to click on the game. I didn't even watch a single pitch of that game.
And Jeffers ate us alive that entire series. Such a solid player, dude.
He's probably the best hitting catcher, either 1 or 2 right now. Contreras, then probably like Jeffers, and then like Will Smith, and then Adley, and then Cal for hitting. Oh, Salvi. I forgot about Salvi.
Yeah, Salvi's batting like, 320 right now?
Yeah.
So anyways, then we move into Oakland, which we're like, okay, we desperately need a get right series. Wu gets his first start of the season, and he throws a gem.
Throws an absolute gem.
Yeah.
But
so he throws 4 innings, 4 and a third. Only gave up 1 hit.
Yep.
0 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 62 pitches. That's when he got pulled for the forearm tightness, like we were talking about. And the offense finally woke up.
Yeah, thank God. Demo had 5 RBIs.
Yeah.
Career
high for him.
And Rojas both had 2 hits. And then a couple other guys got hits. We had 11 total hits against Paul Blackburn. And if you don't know, Paul Blackburn had like a .8 ERA in T-Mobile Park before that start. He's normally carved us up. I don't know what it is, but he loves pitching against the Mariners, but not that day.
Yep. So he won 8-1.
Bullpen held it down, kind of.
Yep. So it was 8-1 win, and then we flip, and then game 2 we lose 1-8. So literally the exact same score, just the opposite direction. This was a Bryce start where, dude, he honestly, this is what irritates me about our bullpen right now, is that game looks way more lopsided than it actually was.
Yeah.
So I was watching that game. Bryce looked fine. He started strong, got a little trouble in the third, gave up 2 runs with Toro and Rooker getting RBIs, but only a 2-run outing through 6. Like, dude, that's a quality start.
Yeah.
That's a quality start. And most of the time, if your starter can give you 2 runs through a quality start, like, that's fantastic. That should be good enough.
Beautiful.
So his line was 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks. That's good.
Yep.
That's our 3 starter. That's our 3. Or no, it's our 4.
For a 4 starter.
That's our 4 starter. Dear Lord, that's our 4 starter, right? But Cal was the only one that had offense in this game. Had a solo shot in the second inning. That was it. And then Stanek took care of 1 inning in the 7th, starts the 8th, which was super weird. They tried to stretch him into a second inning, gives up a double, immediately gets pulled. Then Gabe Spire comes in, and Schumann, who, for whatever reason, Schumann from the A's just destroyed us this series.
Yeah.
And he blows the game wide open with a double that clears the bases. So we're down 5-1, and that was pretty much.
And we gave up 3 more in the 9th. Yeah, it just looks.
That was Bizardo.
Yep, and then just spiraled. It spiraled after Bryce came out.
So we completely wasted a quality start from Bryce.
Yep.
And he gets hung with a loss, even though he only gave up 2-run ball.
Yep.
So here we are.
Love it.
So we go into game 3 with a Castillo start, looking to win the series. Castillo was lights out, dude.
Oh, it was amazing.
He was lights out. So he pitched 6 innings, gave up 7 hits that were just kind of spread out, gave up 2 earned runs, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. He pitched
Schumann homered again.
Yeah, Schumann, dude. He pitched shutout ball until a solo shot by Schumann, and then you knew that who had to hit a home run while he was playing in T-Mobile Park?
Abraham Toro.
Of course.
I'm happy for him.
I am too. Like, I'm glad. He's batting over 300, dude. Like, he's crushing it for the A's.
800 OPS. I have their box score open right now.
Yeah.
I want someone on the A's bad.
I just don't like trading with the AL West, dude. I just don't. Because seeing our players go play for the AL West and then seeing them succeed, like, just feels like someone punches me in the stomach, you know?
Yeah, but this guy wouldn't get a lot of prospects for him.
Who? Who do you want?
Brent Rooker.
Oh, dude, I want Rooker big time.
Yeah.
They're not going to part with him without us giving away a bunch of stuff. I would love Brent Rooker. No question.
Yeah, like he is an OPS over 1,000 right now.
Dude, everybody wants Brent Rooker, though. It's not just
fair.
us. This is the game, though, that Demo hit in the leadoff spot and did well. Garver had an RBI single in the first. He had a 2-run home run in the 5th. So, like I said, his bat was getting going. Zavala got his first home run in a Mariners uniform. Julio finally hit his second home run of the season. But this is where Bolton gave up a 2-run bomb. I'm telling you, Bolton is not good, dude.
Yeah.
He's not good. And so anyways,
Spin rate.
the Mariners do win 8-4. They do get the series win, which is solid.
Yeah, that was pretty solid series. Other than the second game was a disaster.
Yeah.
Another series win, though. That's what matters
Stack them up.
the most to Mr. Scott.
Well, honestly, we need series wins. That's
Moving
all.
into the series with Kansas City, it honestly looked a lot like the Oakland series. So the first game, Kirby absolutely deals.
Yeah,
he goes 7 innings.
He was pitching, and I quote, pissed off, which we love. Yes. We both coach our pitchers very similarly, which is we want our starting pitchers to pitch with a little bit of FU in them, and we want our relievers to pitch with a screw loose, where they're like
psycho stuff.
You want to go psycho, like you want to take dudes' souls. Like you're not going up there just to throw the ball. Like you're going up there to like destroy them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, yeah, Kirby comes out and they're like, hey, what was the difference? He's like, I was pissed off. And we're like, what were you pissed off about? And he goes, well, he had 2 hit by pitches in the first inning that he pitched around. And he didn't like the way that Salvi kind of like leaned into it. He didn't like that call. So he got all kinds of pissed off after that first inning, and then he just shoved.
Yeah, I mean, the screw you fastball, which we love.
Yep. So
his
7
knuckle curve looked really good. He added a cutter. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that.
93-mile cutter, threw it 5 times. Rayleigh went yard, 2-run bomb. Man, Luke Rayleigh. Cal had a RBI single in the 3rd. Stanek gave up 2 runs in the 8th. Yeah, not great.
The game was well in hand. It felt at that point, but
that was the one when
we got 4-2.
Julio.
We were at 4-0 at the.
That was the one that Mitch and Julio ran it. Did not run it down.
The angle was so bad from both of them.
Yeah.
But
also,
then,
Urias dropped the fly ball.
Right. But then Ty France had an insurance 2-run home run in the bottom of 8, and everyone felt fine again. And then Munoz came in for the 4-out save. So
4-out save.
We're seeing this way too much. But the Mariners did win 6-2. It felt like the game was in hand the entire time. Scott Servais said it after the game, and I totally agree. This was their most complete game of the year. Like Kirby did his job. He came in, did what he was supposed to do. Our offense was clicking. Everybody was hitting. Luke Rayleigh is hot.
Yeah,
he is hot. You're going to hear his name a bunch in these game recaps and even how we're talking, because he has been absolutely hot.
He's been the best Mariners player, arguably, in May.
I would say
him and Cal.
And Josh Rojas. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I would say those 3 guys have been our hottest players this month so far.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to last night. I didn't watch a ton of it because I was at the Rainiers game, but I got to watch it back a little bit.
Yeah, I was coaching.
Logan went 6 2/3, gave up 3. He gave up a 3-run tank to Nelson Velasquez.
99th pitch.
Yeah.
He was lights out all night.
At that point, we go down 3-1. By the way, Rayleigh, that one run was another Rayleigh homer. So we're up 1-0, and in the 7th, Nelson Velasquez, 3-run homer. Go down 3-1, and you just feel like it's a ball game.
And that's dumb, right? Like, I feel like our offense has actually been doing stuff, but as soon as he gave up that home run, I was sitting in a Forelli's with my family watching the end of that game, and I was like, as soon as he gave up the 3-run bomb, I hate that my brain immediately goes game over. And it was. Like, I don't know why I feel that way. I mean, it's because our offense has let us down a bunch, but I'm like, man, I want to be the kind of fan that believes that, hey, if we go down 3-1 in the 7th, we could totally come back.
Like the Royals.
Right. But we just don't. And I mean, we this year is different. I gotta be careful.
Yeah.
We are better at coming back in games this year than we were last year, hands down. And it's not over. It's actually not over at that point. So anyways, Rayleigh stayed hot. He had a solo home run again in the 4th. So back to that game.
He had another hit too. He was 2 for 4.
And then Haniger had a 3-hit game and had a solo bomb. So it's funny, there's a guy on X that was criticizing Haniger on one of our posts. And I was like, oh, you mean the guy that had 3 hits last night and a home run? I get it. He's been struggling, but all of a sudden he had hits today too. So I'm just anyways, it is what it is. We lost. It just never felt like we were after we gave up the lead. Logan was good, dude. But then he gets interviewed and they're like, how do you feel about how you pitched tonight? And he's like, terrible. We lost. And I'm like, that's the right mentality.
Yep. By the way, I forgot to mention this when it came to Rainiers games. the beauty of going to a minor league baseball game is I really don't care what the result is.
Totally.
Like I can just sit. We could be losing 15-0, and I can just sit back and still talk to my friends like we're winning 15-0.
Right. Because the result doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like well, and if I go to a Mariners game and we're down 5-0 in the third, I'm like, oh,
Right.
why am I watching this?
Right.
Yeah, the opening day was pretty depressing with that. we were down the whole game. It was literally the first inning of opening day. We grounded to a double play in first and third and 1 out. And you're like, oh, well, the Mariners are back.
Here we are. We're back.
Yep.
We're so back.
Yeah. Now moving on to the game that just happened, just ended about 45 minutes ago. Wu started, and he looked amazing.
Amazing.
He had a lot of innings under 15 pitches.
His fastball has so much life on it, dude.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. It's awesome. It's pretty much it's just a sinker. It's not even a two seam. It's a sinker.
Right.
It's that low arm slot. Then by the way, the umpire got nailed with a foul ball off the mask. He ended up having to come out of the game
with a concussion.
The other umpires, or one of the other umpires, had to change to the with the padding and whatever to go behind the plate. Ended up taking up like 10 minutes. Wu comes back out for the next inning, and he looked pretty bad.
I mean,
Velo was slightly down.
Gave up a single, gave up a walk.
And then another single.
So
bases loaded, nobody out. And then he gives up a sac fly to Bobby Witt Jr., so now we got first and third, 1 out. By the way, we're only up 1 at this point.
Yep.
Spire comes in and absolutely becomes a dog against a team that put him on waivers a year and a half ago.
Yeah, dude, you could tell. And he had that extra fire in him.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he struck out the last batter, he literally looked at their dugout and was screaming at them. Like I freaking love that, dude.
Which is so weird because like that Royals team is like brand new. Like none of them were there 2 years ago.
Well, a couple of them were, but sure, most of them.
Other than like Witt and Salvi,
right.
that's it.
Right. But yeah, dude. So Gabe, but here's the deal. Like I just said, bro, when you pitch, like figure something out that pisses you off and then just go let it go. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't care what it is. Like think about like when I was younger, dude, and I was pitching, I used to think about like worst case scenarios. Like someone just killed my dog. I'm going to go hop on the mound and just pitch, just pissed off. Like I don't even care. It didn't even happen. Right. Like I'm literally conjuring things in my mind to give me that edge, you know? Now as an adult, there's plenty of things to, to cue off of. Right. But I'm just saying, like Spire comes in, has the edge, wants to take out the team that DFA'd him, and he comes in and shuts it down, which is huge.
Julio with 2 hits, but like we said earlier, both were negated due to base running mistakes. Rayleigh had 2 more hits. He had a big RBI single in the 8th inning. Rojas had a big RBI single in the 7th inning off of a lefty.
Weird.
Which Ken zoned 2 batters before him, had a double down the line. Yeah, just a lot of
overall good game.
Yep. It was,
but our bullpen scares the crap out of me.
Our bullpen really does scare us. I want to talk a little bit about how Rayleigh kind of changed this game. First inning or second inning, comes up with a runner on first or runner on second. Laces one up the middle, first and third. Then we go like pot or ground ball strikeout. So now we get to a point where we have bases loaded and 2 outs, and you haven't scored a run after getting first and third with nobody out. And Urias hits a ground ball to Adam Frazier, who's playing third base.
Right over the bag, too.
Right over the bag. Frazier bobbles it a little bit, and Rayleigh beats him to the bag.
It actually ate him up. So It didn't bobble. He chested one.
Yeah.
He didn't get the read right, and he chested one in front of him. Frazier picked it up and dove to the bag, and Rayleigh beat him there.
Just beat him.
Yeah. So what I will say is this. I got to say
Rayleigh also had a stolen base.
I got to say this on the show because people like to come at me sideways on X. And I'm like, hey, listen, dude, this is best case scenario. I have always rooted for Rayleigh. What I've said was at the very beginning of the season that Canzone earned the starting spot out of spring. This is not challenging to understand, right? We knew that left field was an open competition and that Canzone and Rayleigh were fighting for an everyday spot. Rayleigh had arguably the worst spring. Canzone had arguably the best spring. Out of all of the Mariners, both of those on ends of the spectrum, Canzone won that spot. So, of course, Canzone is going to have more playing time than Rayleigh. Now, Canzone's injury opened the door for Rayleigh to have more time day to day, which a lot of Mariners fans were saying, as soon as Rayleigh gets everyday playing time, he's going to get it locked in and he's going to do better. I will give you all the credit in the world. You were saying that too, E.
Yep.
Like you were saying, hey, as soon as Rayleigh gets everyday reps, he's going to be better. I said, hey, I'll believe it when I see it. And that's fine. And you know what? Dude has been hotter than a pistol the last couple weeks, which has been great. And he's hit home runs. He's hitting in big spots.
Played
He's
good defense,
he's hitting
ran
the
the
ball hard.
bases well.
He's running the bases really well. He's making plays in the outfield. Today he made 2 catches that Haniger wouldn't have in right field and like in the gap, like great catches. And I just go, hey, I'm glad that Rayleigh, I've said since the beginning, I said when Canzone comes back healthy, the best case scenario for me is that they don't know what to do because Rayleigh's doing so well. And you know what? He is, which is fantastic. And people are like, well, what about when you said that Clase should be playing over Rayleigh? At the time, I still stand by that. Clase, the first 4 games he played in, had a hit in all 4 games, and he had 4 RBIs in 4 games. Luke Rayleigh didn't get 4 RBIs until like 2 weeks ago, right? Like, so at the time, yes, I was like, hey, I want to see what Clase has. Like, Rayleigh hasn't done anything for me yet. And he didn't. At the beginning of the year, with the reps that he did have, didn't do great. So my point is this. Those that are trying to like dunk on me, listen, I'm happy Rayleigh's crushing it. Like every time Rayleigh does something is awesome. I'm like pumped.
Yeah.
Right. The only guy that I'm like throwing in everyone else's face is Josh Rojas, right? Every time Josh Rojas does anything, I'm going to tweet.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. But it's because I've always believed in Josh Rojas, and like we've seen the fruit of that. To Ethan's credit, Ethan has always believed in Rayleigh, and I didn't always see it. And you know what? I'm totally fine with that. I have no problem with that. So well done, E. Ah boy. Ah boy.
It was the whole thing to me about like, we're really going to make a guy's decision on his playing time who has a better track record in the MLB based off 30 spring training plate appearances, or was it 40
It was
or
way
something?
more than that. It was a month and a half.
50-ish.
It was a month and a half.
But I mean,
he had way more than that. He had a month and a half worth of reps, dude.
would you
As
call it?
coaches, we make decisions. You and I right now, I'll go right here. You and I make starting decisions of who's playing where and where in the lineup off of 2 weeks of practice.
But we don't.
Not even games.
But we don't play 162 games.
What I'm saying is we open the door. We let kids earn their way onto the spot, or at practice, if they start really coming through, like we give them starting spots and we let them earn that back, right? If they don't have it at the beginning, but they earn it later, like that's normal.
Yeah, but you're comparing high school baseball to.
I have to put it within context. So what I'm saying is it's not absurd that our coaches had a month and a half worth of game reps and data and being with Luke Rayleigh every day for months to make a decision on who is going to start more.
But they also had a year and a half of MLB data.
But you look at it, he was literally the luckiest hitter in 2023. We talk about this all the time.
Still a 700 OPS. That's better than what Canzone had. His expected was still higher.
But Canzone only played a couple of months. He didn't play the same amount of games that
he ended up getting consistent starts.
What I'm saying, no, at the end of the year, like kind of like for like a month. But what I'm saying is this, like we don't even like this is all honestly past tense anyway. What I'm saying is this, is Rayleigh right now is one of our hottest hitters, and I will say this, like I've said it for other players. You feed the hot hand. Yes. You keep that man in the lineup. I don't care where. First base, DH, corner outfield, don't care. You keep Luke Rayleigh in the lineup. You keep Josh Rojas in the lineup. Those are our 2 hottest hitters right now. You keep them in the lineup no matter what.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying.
And to somewhat of a degree, Demo.
Right. I think you have to make that argument too, although he's kind of cooled off.
He's cooled off a little bit. He has his games. It's either like 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs, or it's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts.
Right. All right, let's hop into our division updates. We could stay on that Rayleigh rant forever.
Yeah. But just know he's playing well.
But he's playing great, which is fantastic. So let's get into our division updates. All right, so let's hop into Houston right off the bat, because Houston, in their cheating ways, continue to cheat. Shocking.
Insane.
Against the A's. You're going to get caught using sticky substance against the Oakland Athletics?
Well, it's because they're trying to pass them in the division.
Right.
Little shot there. But yeah, Ronel Blanco. Remember, Ronel Blanco before this year was not very great. He had about 5 MLB starts under his belt. And then in his first start this year, he throws a no-hitter.
At 30 years old. All of a sudden, he goes down to a 2 ERA and pitches his best baseball of all time.
Why is that?
That's shocking.
So yesterday, he gets dinged. So, I mean, he pitches like, I think this is the 4th inning. and he goes for his normal glove check, and all the umpires put his hand in his glove, which,
Not a good sign.
not a good sign when they're all grouped together like that. And he gets tossed for sticky stuff. And people like to use the thing, oh, well, if you mix rosin with sweat, it's going to be naturally sticky. Okay. I think the umpires have a pretty good idea of, rosin and sweat, because they've been doing this for 3 years now. One of the umpires after the game, they interviewed him and they said that was the stickiest they felt any glove in the 3 years that they've been doing it.
Awesome.
Which,
and so then you got
there's a whole another thing. Sunscreen, rosin, and sweat creates such a sticky substance. Well, we've been doing this for 3 years now. You're telling me this hasn't happened to like an Atlanta pitcher? Like,
come on, man.
Georgia in August? Like, come on now.
Right.
What are we doing?
Right. So he received a 10-game suspension. Good.
By the way, did you see the Astros broadcast of when he was getting his glove confiscated?
No.
They're like, well, he's a big sweater and he sweats a lot, and it's probably just sweat and rosin and they can't tell the difference. And by the way, he sweats a lot. I don't know if you've said that before, but he sweats a lot. Really? Like,
cheaters.
Unbelievable.
Cheaters.
You're trying to back up a guy. Like, you don't see gloves get confiscated at all anymore.
No, very
because
rare.
they've done a pretty good job of cracking it down.
Right. They figured it out.
They figured it out with Domingo Germán. They figured it out with Hector Santiago when he was pitching with us. They figured it out with and then Manuel Blanco. I mean, not a lot of guys have gotten their glove confiscated ever since the rules got laid down.
Yeah.
By the way, when the rules got laid down, the spin rate went down by like 200, 300 RPMs.
Shocking.
Well, it's almost like every pitcher was using it.
And then Tyler Glass now, comes out and says, everybody was using it.
Yeah.
So you just didn't know. Let's get into Texas. So they've begun sliding. They got swept by Colorado. They've been losing a lot of games. They've
lost 5 games in a row.
They've been giving up a lot of runs on the back end. And that's because they're pitching, dude. And we said that from the get. And that's why these games I'm going to give Scott Service credit here. Let's get a timestamp. Right here. I'm going to give Scott Service credit. He's playing every game to win right now, which is what we begged him to do last year.
Except the third game when we win 2 games in a row. But
that is true. But that's just like lineup composition. I mean, like in games, like even today against the Royals. Yeah, I was going for the series win, but like he played today's game like it was September and the game mattered. And I love that because we need to do that right now because Texas is faltering. Houston started off slow, but I will not be shocked if at the end of the season, Houston is still in the playoff picture because it's Houston. Like, I don't even care how slow they started. Like, we need to pack in as many wins as possible.
They just scored 2 runs.
Who did?
In the bottom of the first. Houston did off the A's.
All I'm saying is, dude, Houston is coming and we need to get a lead now. Yeah. So you want to give us this update on Texas? Because I'm not about to attempt that name.
Oh, they acquired Robbie Grossman from the White Sox.
Yep.
For Anthony. I don't want to attempt it.
You got.
I don't want to attempt this last.
You make fun of me so much. You need to attempt it.
It's spelled Hoopii and then a dash. Tuionetoa.
Attempt it.
Tuionetoa.
Perfect. I'll go with it.
Yeah. Tuionetoa. I said Tua the first time.
Tuionetoa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right, actually.
Yeah.
That sounds.
Hoopii Tuionetoa.
That was good.
Yeah, nailed it.
That's probably how you say it.
Got him.
Beautiful.
So, anyways, Texas made a trade. Their outfield situation has been not spectacular.
Adolis Garcia has been struggling. Their depth is not that great.
They don't have a lot of depth. I think that's what the Grossman move is primarily is depth. But they're not in a great spot, dude. So Texas is falling off a little bit, which is great to see. Moving on to the Angels, dude, they are bleeding. Yeah, so Mike Trout was the only thing holding that team up.
They're 1 game in front of the White Sox for the worst record in the American League.
Yep.
Which was shocking to me.
Yeah, the Angels have fallen off a cliff. They started the season strong like they always do. And everyone's like, is this the new Angels? And then they're not.
Yeah. Last night,
Dude, last
was the capper to an unbelievable Angels run. By the way, their lineup, I need to pull this up later. Their lineup is garbage. I mean, it's literally just a bunch of 4A guys. I don't even know how this is even a major league quality team. They tried a suicide squeeze with Luis Guillorme, who's hitting leadoff for some reason.
With the bases loaded in the eighth inning, down one.
Lefty throws a slider outside the zone, the other batter's box, and the runner at third runs. He gets tagged out, and the runner going to third almost got thrown out as well. They ended up not scoring and losing the game against the Cardinals. Not good.
And then Ron Washington goes into the press conference afterwards, and he completely throws him under the bus. Says, well, he didn't get it down. It's like, dude, you call the suicide squeeze with the bases loaded where there's a force out at
swinging
home.
A fungo. Like, you can't get that down.
And the ball is in the other batter's box, literally. So you're like, dude, and it's just bad looks. Like Ron Washington is, heralded as this, he's a player's coach and he's always encouraging guys and he's so nice and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, you just threw a player under the bus in a really old school way that like you don't see managers do these days. No. You just don't. So anyways, man, it's kind of weird. They did acquire that guy. So Luis Guillorme from the Braves, who signed a 1-year, $1.1 million deal with Atlanta this past offseason. He had only appeared in 9 regular season games. So obviously it was depth that Atlanta didn't need. So LA like trying to make a move, but dude, they're just bad. They're just really bad.
Yeah.
And then Oakland is a team that is playing above their baseball card without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
They looked more Oaklandy to us though than they have to other teams. Like they like beat the Rangers, didn't they?
Yeah.
In the series, and then they
beat the Orioles.
They beat the Orioles. So I'm like, man, maybe the Athletics are better. And then they played us, and I'm like, oh, this is not a scary lineup. Like I'm scared of like Brent Rooker, and not even scared. Just
That's
like
it. They didn't have Geloff, to be fair.
That is true. Geloff is solid.
He just came back today.
But anyways, Oakland has made known that they are going to make Mason Miller available, but that the word around the league is that their asking price is unbelievably steep.
Yep. They have 3 players. They have Zach Geloff, they have Brent Rooker, and they have Mason Miller. And that's about it.
And they're going to trade all 3.
Yep. Not Geloff.
I bet you they're going to trade all 3. That'd be my bet.
Geloff just came up last year. There's no way. But moving on. So the current standings, Angels are in last 15 and 28.
I can't say the Astros anymore.
Yeah.
That makes me sad.
The 4th place Astros are 17 and 25. 3rd place A's 19 and 25. I imagine that'll change in the next few days. The Rangers are 22 and 22, and we're in first at 23 and 20.
Did you update that after we won today?
I did not. So we were 24 and 20.
Boom, baby.
Boom, there it is.
Let's roll. All right, man. Let's get into our player of the week.
What is it?
We're getting chatty this week, dude. We are way longer than normal, so we'll just blast through this. Player of the week is mine is Ty France. People were railing on him. They were calling for him to be DFA'd, that they're trying to trade him off. They're trying to get Pete Alonso, which I'm like, do you guys watch baseball? Like, yeah, Pete Alonso is the big name, but like Pete Alonso is not the Pete Alonso of years past. Like his barrel percentage is not like he's not Pete Alonso.
Hit for average.
He isn't hit for average. Like Pete, like I'm just saying, like if you're disappointed with Ty France, you're going to be disappointed with Pete Alonso too. Like whatever. But anyways, the last week, Ty France has had 5 RBI, he had 2 home runs, 7 hits over that span. Like he's getting there. Like he's heating up. His defense on first is great. All I'm saying is we're a fourth of the way through the season. And yes, if we get to the All-Star break and he's still like not quite pushing through, like, yeah, look at options, but he's also a team leader. Like he's arguably one of our captains. Like they're not going to just drop him just because. If they drop him, it's because
he's egregiously bad.
Because he's egregiously bad, and they have a big move up their sleeve that they're going to go get someone that like is a solid replacement, not like a possible like, dude, Pete Alonso could easily come to Seattle and struggle, right? Yeah. Like, I don't want to make a move like that. Like, I would only want to make that move if like Matt Olson was coming here.
Yeah,
like if we're getting Matt Olson, sure, trade Ty France and the farm to go get Matt Olson, fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not making that trade for Pete Alonso. I'm just not. But my player of the week, dude, Ty France has been solid. He had another home run today.
Yep. My player of the week is Luke Raley.
Of course.
Why? How can he not?
It's true. He's been hot. He
batted .500 against Kansas City this week. His last 7 games, he's hitting .435, .480 on base, .739 slugging for a 1,219 OPS.
Yeah, beast mode.
In the month of May alone, he has a 239 WRC plus.
Love it.
He is 139% better than the league average. Played great defense, stole 3 bags.
Clutch RBIs,
clutch hits, has 1 or 2 hits every game. His average has gone up about 120 points the last 2 weeks.
Is that what, like 265?
274.
274 now. Wow.
Like, wow. I think you should get move up in the lineup.
100%.
5th, 2nd.
Honestly, second.
Second would be really good.
I'd be fine with second.
Yeah.
If you
he needs to be in the lineup every day.
If you put Rojas at 1, Rayleigh at 2, and then Julio at 3,
you could make an argument for 3,
right?
Because you want left, right, left.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
dude,
do it.
Honestly, I'd be fine with it. It's better than Ty being there, or Haniger being there, or Garver being there.
Luke Rayleigh, get there,
dude. Luke Rayleigh, keep going, bub. All right, let's hop into our hot corner. Wrap this up. All right, so mine is on the heels of my player of the week. Dude, I think Ty France is going to be just fine. So my hot corner is everybody chill out. Everyone clamoring for him to be traded or replaced a fourth of the way through the season. If that decision is made, it'll still be at least another month or 2 before they make that call. They're going to give him as much runway as possible. And honestly, he's starting to turn the corner right now. His home run, was that today? Was it today's home run?
Yeah.
That was a daddy hack.
Yeah, I've never seen him swing.
I don't know if I've ever seen him swing as hard as he did, and he absolutely connected. So, like, all I'm saying is I think Ty France is fine. That's my hot corner.
Mine is I think Michael Chavis could get the call very soon.
To play first base?
Third base.
Because he's been playing first for the Rainiers, right?
Third.
And first.
Bossler's been playing first.
I think Chavis has played first too, hasn't he?
Maybe, but he would fit at third.
Okay.
Because Urias is very close to getting the hook very soon.
Dude, Urias is just not, like, that's what I was telling people. I got in a fight with guys a couple weeks ago, and then I just, like, let it go. Like, yes, his slugging numbers are good, but, like, dude, his OPS is terrible. His OBS is terrible, or his whatever, on base, OBP is terrible. And I'm like, man, like, Urias has had a couple moments. He's had a couple clutch hits, but dude, his defense all of a sudden is starting to leak.
He's had 2 errors in the last 3 days.
Right. He had an error where he dropped a fly ball that hit him in the middle of the glove, pulled the Mitch Haniger. And then today in like Munoz in the 9th inning, like had a tight ball game, like gets a perfect hop, or does really well to get the perfect hop, comes up, has time, and then throws the ball away in a game that is tight. Like, we can't afford that, dude.
Yep.
And Josh Rojas, by the way, has been playing second base because Polanco's been hurt, and he has made some web gem plays at second base. Like, dude, Josh Rojas, honestly, if Urias went away and we had Josh Rojas as our everyday third baseman, I'm happy.
Oh,
I'm totally fine.
We've been saying that since day one.
Yeah, we have been saying that since day one.
But I think, Urias, if he keeps playing like this, like for another week or 2, he's gone. Because you
don't need to when Josh Rojas is doing what Josh Rojas is doing.
I don't know. He struck out twice today. He was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts today and an error in the 9th inning.
We can't afford that.
Yeah. And then the other day, remember he had the error in the 8th inning, 7th inning that pissed George off?
Yep.
I don't know. If you can't back it up with your bat, I'm not sure anything.
When we have other options, we need to take those other options, is my point.
I mean, because Chavis is raking down there, and he also had really good defensive plays yesterday too. I mean, he literally short hopped the ball and picked it clean and threw a guy out at home, and then 2 innings later, he had a diving play. I don't know, man. I think it's time.
All right, I like that hot corner. Hey guys, thanks for listening. I know we went way later, dude. We had less content this week than last week, and somehow we went later. We had a few rants
because we just played.
We had some rants in there. We had a lot to talk about, and we just played, and so we had some energy to bring to the table. Thank you so much for listening. As always, you guys are fantastic. Your support's been great. Like I said, we've been getting a really consistent listenership. Go like, subscribe, comment, do all the things. It does help us, I promise. It is something that if you just took 30 seconds right now as you're thinking about it to go leave us a comment, just engage with our stuff, that would be extremely helpful. Anything else? Thanks for listening. This is the Southern Mojo Podcast.